So let me talk about my appearance yesterday on The Crucible. I go where I'm invited, generally. On YouTube, this thing did happen, but it went private or deleted because, we talked about, Kanye was talking about Jewish people in what can be considered hate speech, oftentimes either true or independent stated, not quite true things can be called hate speech. Give me a break. But anyway, we discussed his positions a little bit. Hake versus AircraftSparky. And it's AircraftSparky, all one word, actually. Should conservatives support Kanye? And I said, yeah, we should be supporting a man who is speaking his mind and saying some true things, perhaps among some other untrue things. And his goal is love and Christianity and morals more than ever. Now more than ever, Kanye West, the rapper slash billionaire, I don't know if he still is, slash mogul, fashion designer, and all kinds of different things Kanye West is. And part of the reason I say we should support him is because I'm so sick and tired of phony and weak conservative people backing away from a man speaking his mind that seems embarrassing or not politically correct or hateful or receives blowback from the mainstream or is punished politically. I'm sick of that. You think about not just people who speak the truth and then apologize later, but you think about men like the great Congressman Steve King of Iowa, a Republican man who was ousted, primaried by his own so-called party, the Republican Party establishment, ousted him because he spoke the truth about Western civilization and patriotism and nationalism and building a wall, but he was called a white nationalist and white supremacist, and he was misquoted perhaps or mischaracterized by the New York Slimes, the failing New York Slimes, and the rhinos voted him out of his committees, stripped him of his power. So that was, and a lot of people thought, oh, he's racist. Stupid. That is so dumb. And there's all kinds of examples of this over and over and over again. Remember Cliven Bundy? I'll try not to go on and on about this. Here's an example, though. Cliven Bundy of the Bundy Ranch thing over in Nevada. So 7-8 years ago, so give or take, right? It was the militia standing their ground, trying to protect the land of these Nevada ranchers against BLM, not Black Lives Matter exactly, but the Bureau of Land Management, which is trying to do a land grab in the name of maybe Harry Reid, Senator Harry Reid, I don't know, Democrat, evil person, sicko. And like there were all these land grabs in Texas and elsewhere, Nevada and Oregon, I think, Washington, by the government, the federal government especially. And this guy, Sean Hannity, whom I respect, stood with him, was interviewing him, but then he was quoted as saying, there was a clip of Cliven Bundy, this old-timer, white man, saying, the blacks, I often think that perhaps they were better under slavery. They had families, they worked, they were Christians, they had joy, they had morals. Perhaps they were better under slavery. And that was considered racist, and everybody abandoned Cliven Bundy, including Glenn Beck, including Sean Hannity, whom I respect, and I even respect Glenn Beck a little bit. A lot of it. We respect everybody here on the Hake Report. But I'm sick of that type of backing away from people. Most of the time, they're backing away from them from telling the truth or something close to it, something independent thinking. So, yes, let's not back away from Kanye West. Let's not get overexcited in supporting him too much, and too enthusiastically. But let's not back away from him. Please. Where's my spittoon? I'll get it later. So anyway, that's my point about that. And another point, and maybe I should bring Hassan in on this. This man, AircraftSparky, a man I admire on some levels, my debate opponent, find him on YouTube and elsewhere, he put out misinformation. And this is so typical on the so-called right of people saying stuff they don't know to be true, but they think that they know that it's true. Jump into false conclusions. And he did that a lot against Nick Fuentes, against Kanye West, against Trump, and others. And yeah, some people are mean and nasty towards him back. Evil versus evil. And we're supposed to be Christians. But this man said something untrue. Hassan, correct the record. This man said, repeat what he said if you remember.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as soon as I clicked on it and I started watching the debate, immediately the first thing out of this guy's mouth was that, how can you support this guy? He married a woman that didn't even bear his children.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not true. She did bear the first two, the two eldest. She did bear, and the younger two they did through a surrogate. But yeah, to make that statement,
it's false.
It's at least 50% false because two of the four she did bear.
And you know what? I vaguely remember. I try to block it out of my mind because I don't really like pregnant pictures. I vaguely remember like her posing half naked or nude for a pregnant photo. Like I can almost picture her, it's so frequent. Women do this all the time. I could be maligning Kim Kardashian, who should be named Kim West, falsely. But did she do you happen to know if she posed?
Absolutely. I actually, I was around her when she was pregnant with the first child. And she was extremely, she was definitely pregnant.
Pregnant, yeah. It wasn't fake. It wasn't a psy-op.
No.
And that's what people tend to believe too easily. And I may be too quick to discount the notion of a psy-op, deception. This is not, things are not as they seem. And I get that there may be truth to that in some cases, in a lot of cases. And there really is truth to that in a lot of cases, but this was not one of them. I don't know how he got that wrong, but to me that's a sign of sloppy work. And I've been chided by JLP for speaking sloppily or giving him sloppy information that we don't know to be true, or at least that we can't reference a supposedly authoritative source on. We say, according to CNN, this happened. And then we're not saying that this definitely happened. We're saying CNN says that this happened. And so we leave it as somewhat of an I don't know, but this is the story. And a lot of right-wingers are not so careful with their things, and they descend into gossip thinking that they're telling the truth. What a shame.
And he could have at least said, I think.
Right.
Or I'm not 100% sure. No, he doubled down.
Reminds me of me sometimes. I double down on stuff that isn't true.
and we all do, baby. But with something like that has, it's not a conspiracy. That is a factual thing. You can go back and look. And so, yeah.
Yep. And so him saying that led me to believe that he is also mistaken and sorely mistaken and too easily jump into conclusions about dirty things that he said about Nick Fuentes. And, he's jumping to spurious conclusions based on side details about people's lives that have gotten out and acting like it's something that should be front and center that we should criticize and call out. And I don't believe that way. I look at people's overall message because I'm not that into people. I don't follow people that closely. And so he called Nick Fuentes a cat boy, whatever that is, and called him something else that was really vulgar and basically implying sexual stuff against him. But anytime I've seen a clip of Nick or seen him in speeches at AFPAC, he's promoting morality, Christianity. So whatever the chatter is about him, it's just evil chatter. And the Bible warns against gossip and slander and backbiting and division. Be united with your fellow Christians. And that's the main thrust of the New Testament, is against gossip and division in the church. You should be united in Christ. But these people are anything but. It's something to pay attention to yourselves about, guys.
Yeah, even so much so
Put yourself on camera.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, man.
Even so much so that a couple of weeks ago, I saw Jimmy Kimmel doing a monologue, and he played a clip of Nick speaking about how he's, waiting for marriage, and that he's
Nice.
He's,
Yeah.
like promoting not having sex out of wedlock, and it was amazing to see Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, not amazing because that's sort of his wheelhouse, but to see, to put a kid that's talking like that and then completely just make jokes.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm not sure what this other guy was accusing him of, but the things that I've seen, like you said, he's been ridiculed for
standing for morality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Hassan. I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, man.